Welcome to Tanked Up, the podcast all about video games and craft beer. I'm Ben, and I'm here with Lucy.
Hello again.
Hello.
Hello.
We're back for another week to chat. Probably one game this week.
Yeah.
I've only played one game.
Same here.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're on a roll. This is like the third week in a row we've both played the same games.
It is. It is. We'll have to find something next week that piques both of our interests as well, just to see if we can keep going.
Yeah.
How long we can eke this out for, chatting about the same game. What we're not going to be chatting about the same is beers. I imagine we've probably got different beers. Lucy, what are you drinking this week?
I'm going to go straight into a double IPA.
Nice.
It's from, is it Left Hand Giant?
Yep.
I always get these, they Bristol, they're Bristol, aren't they, as well? I can't remember who, it's Lost and Found and Lost and Grounded or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, but, Lost and Grounded is Bristol based.
Yeah, and there's also Lost and Found.
There is Lost and Found, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, Left-Handed Giant brewing. It's called Easy Tiger. It's got a very nice Bengal tiger on the front. Which ones are the Bengal tigers? Are they the white ones?
No, they're Siberian tigers.
Yeah, well, this tiger.
A tiger?
Yeah. Don't have to get too specific. I'm not a zoologist. It's 8.3%. Hops, Simcoe, Equinox, and Amarillo. Malt is Maris Otter Extra Pale, oats, wheat, and carapils. Yeast, London Fog. Other dextrose. And that's it, really. So, yeah. Dipper to start.
Nice.
Oh, it says it might be a collaboration because it says Garage Brew Co, but it's very small underneath Left Hand Giant like emblem. So yeah, looks like a collaboration.
Yes, I have had this, but I won't tell you what I thought until later. Later.
Yeah, it's a very expensive beer.
I can't see. £6.50.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
What will the people in the sun say about that?
They'll have a cry, at least. I can't remember how much it was for me. I brought a can when I went on the East Bristol Brewery Trail. Left-Handed Giant was my last stop, and they were doing a 4 cans for 16 quid deal.
That's pretty good.
So I brought 4 cans. What did I buy? I brought Easy Tiger. I brought that super chocolatey stout that they do. This is life or something life. Something like
this
that.
This is the good life. Or is it just fantasy?
Oh. Caught in a landslide? No. What else did I get? I got Cycle City, which I drank a couple of episodes ago, and something else, which I can't remember.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good money, yeah. £4 each.
Yeah, very
Especially
good.
if you're getting like double IPA and stuff like that.
Exactly. I have no idea how much they were individually. But yeah, I mean, yeah, £6.50. Yeah. The beer I'm going to start with is also a collaboration, but it's significantly cheaper than yours. I picked this up in Tesco. I walked in the other day, checked out the beers, thinking I'll just pick up a couple from Stone or something like that.
Yeah.
And they had an absolute ton of new beer in.
Alright, okay. New ones you've never seen before?
New ones I haven't seen before. I had one from Fourpure, which was called Tree Line the other night, which is very nice. Very easy drinking lager.
No, I know that one.
No, I don't know whether it's just brew for Tesco's or it's just a new beer for them. I'm not sure. But this one, Portside Extra Pale Ale from Fourpure and Little Creatures.
Oh, okay. Is that a 330 or 440?
No, it's a 500.
Oh, it's 500. Oh, I rarely see those.
I know. And it was like £3. If we're talking about price. Supermarket beer.
Hold on, we're going to pause this podcast while I run to Tesco.
They had a load. They had another one, I think was... who was it? Was it a Vocation?
Yeah, you see a lot of those.
Yeah, Vocation and someone else, but it was like a blueberry stout. I haven't picked that one up yet.
Ooh.
But they had that in there as well. I had one last night, which was a Brute IPA, which was bollocks. Who was that?
Or the
Vocation
Star,
and
yeah.
someone else.
Is that like
I can't
a
remember.
white can with like pink on it or something like that?
No,
I can't
it's
remember.
unlike Vocation's cans. It was kind of a little bit of like an arty can of a sort of like
Okay.
a woman looking off into the distance. She might have been sat in a car or something like
Yeah.
that. It was called Solar Wind, maybe Solar something. I can't remember. Anyway, this beer, it gives me nothing on the ingredients apart from water, malted barley, hops, and yeast. It's 4.9%. The OG is 11.7 degrees Plato, 30 IBUs, 8 EBC, 135 calories. Serve it at 8 degrees centigrade. And this says, Fourpure is a London-based brewery founded in 2013 by brothers Dan and Tom. Beer is our passion and our travels are what inspire us. Portside, brewed in conjunction with Australia's Little Creatures, has been inspired by long, sunny afternoons overlooking Fremantle Port out to the Indian Ocean. With some bright floral notes and well-balanced bitterness, this is the perfect social sundowner.
Were Fourpure, were they the ones who got bought over by like a Australian like corporation?
Yeah,
Is it them?
whose name I can't remember. Lion?
No, possibly. I'm not too au fait with Australian brewing companies and everything like that, but
Mega
so it was.
conglomerates.
Yeah, because I was thinking Fourpure Tesco. I was like, oh yeah, that sounds familiar. So it makes sense now why they're in Tesco, which is cool. You know?
Yeah.
Gotta see what the quality's like, but
Yeah, exactly.
they're
They
more
did have
available.
they did have the juice box in there as well,
Oh, nice.
actually.
Yeah,
So
definitely gonna.
I'm not sure how much that was going
Yeah.
for, but yeah, check out Tesco, I suppose.
I will.
They've got to try and up their game a little bit, haven't they, to try and draw people back in from going to their little independent bottle shops and supporting small businesses and trying other beers and things.
I haven't been to Tesco to look at beer in ages.
Yeah, they're obviously losing a little bit of market share, perhaps.
Possibly.
To try and bring people in, maybe not too much, but
Yeah.
they haven't changed their beers in there for at least 6 months, if not longer. 6 months
Can't
since
remember
I've
last
been going
time
to
mine
sort of
went,
like
but
the
it was
local
always
Tesco.
it was always Vocation and just Brewdog, and that's it
Yeah.
really. Might see a Flying Dog in there, but other than that, not much.
How is your beer?
I really enjoy it. You can definitely taste the 8.3%. It's
Okay.
got like quite a it's quite warming, and like you can feel that alcohol settle after a few minutes. So it's not strong as in like it's not scathing, it's not abrasive or anything like that. But you can certainly tell that this is a double IPA. In terms of flavour, I mean, it's really, really juicy. What you'd probably expect from a double IPA. It goes down really well. Nice wet finish. Getting a lot of citrus in the taste. Maybe a little bit of coriander.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, for me, there's nothing amazing about it, but it's a very good double IPA. Maybe £6.50. It's not as good as I probably would have expected it to be for that price, but it's certainly easy drinking and I'm enjoying it. But there's nothing crazy about it,
Yeah. I felt similarly. I mean, easy kind of as I was drinking it, very much sprang to mind. It is a very easy drinking kind of beer. Yeah, you get that little bit of that alcohol hit with it, but it kind of works quite well with with the fruity flavors that are kind of going on. But yeah, I thought it was. I mean, I smashed it back. I think it was super easy to drink, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was well made, definitely. But as you say, nothing big going on really.
No, and that's absolutely fine. It's like I don't need all my beers to be weird and crazy and different. Sometimes you just want to have a nice, strong beer that is going to taste good. And
completely.
LHG, they make some cracking beers, so it's just another one of those.
Yeah, nice. So the Portside, it's a pale ale.
Yeah.
I assume they're suggesting it's an extra pale ale because it's got a little bit of bitterness to it towards the end.
Okay.
It kind of comes in the middle a little bit and sticks with you, and that kind of sticks with you. There's a little bit of citrus going on. It's not a huge amount else in there. It's quite wet. It's quite thin as well.
Okay.
And the nose gave me sort of a lot more than the flavours giving me. It was kind of, a little fruity on the nose, not massively, but I mean, it's almost pulling a little bit more towards like a pilsner or something. There's
I was about to say it looks like a lager.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, it's kind of under the light. It's a little more amber perhaps than sort of a straw colour, but it's super clear. It's a little bit carbonated. There's barely any head on there. So yeah, it edges towards that maybe lager just a little bit. But,
do you think that's what they were going for? I mean, they're in Tesco. Obviously, people are looking for lagers more often than not when they're buying beer in a supermarket. Do you think they were trying to like bridge that gap, like sort of like
possibly
that beer that it was Dill who had it a few weeks ago? Which one was it? I think it was the Robots and Clowns from like Magic Rock, and it was meant to be like a lager, but it tasted more like a just pale ale.
An IPL, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah. This might just be the inverse of that, more a IPA that tastes more like a lager.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pale ale, so you expect it to be a little bit lighter, but this, I don't know whether it's maybe more of the malts that are kind of pushing through a little bit over the hops, maybe. And maybe the hops are just giving it that kind of that bitterness, that kind of that finish to it, and it's more the malt that's kind of pushing that build. But yeah, it's very easy to drink. There's just not a huge amount to it, really.
But hey, £3 for a 500ml can.
Exactly. What was it? 4%? 4%? 4.9%.
That's not bad.
It's light. No, it's not bad. So yeah, it's fine. I'll drink it.
Same here. It's fine.
Yeah.
Drink it. It's all good. You know what isn't fine?
Oh, what?
What's actually pretty good? The Spider-Mans.
The Spider-Mans, yes. Yes. It's been consuming sort of both of our gaming times for, what, a week now?
I started it on Sunday and I finished it on Tuesday.
You smashed it a lot quicker than I have.
Yeah, I didn't want to put it down, and I didn't.
Yeah.
I played probably about 7 hours each on those 3 days, so I think they said like the story would take about 20 hours and stuff like that. So I was probably, maybe just above that.
Okay.
But I did a lot of side stuff, and I haven't 100%ed it. I don't think I'm going to. I think I will dip back in, and if DLC comes out, like often I find it very hard to go back to games once credits roll and DLC. So I've got like piles of DLC from like Horizon, which was like my game of the year last year.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, South Park, Mafia 3.
I was gonna say, have you played any of the Mafia 3 ones?
I played the first one. I do want to get back to it. Play the other two, I think that came out, but we'll speak about Mafia 3 later, actually, because I want to tie it a little bit into it with Spider-Man. Okay. But if DLC comes out for this game, I think they did say there's DLC.
There is. I can't remember what the DLC kind of pack is called, or what they're calling kind of the next thing. But I think they're suggesting that there's going to be three releases.
Okay.
Or three maybe. I don't know whether it's kind of additional missions. I know the first one, they've already sent out a trailer for it. It's got Black Cat in it. Is it Black Cat?
All right. Yeah. Have you done the Black Cat missions?
I have. We have to.
Did you finish them all?
Swoop around. Yes, I have finished them.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm not going to go into spoilers because you haven't finished the game, but just in case we are both at the same point, there will be spoilers. So if you're listening and you don't want to hear about it, maybe come back after you finished it if you haven't yet. But it's a very minor spoiler. The Black Cat's just not in. You don't see her. You don't see her character model. Maybe they didn't model it in time, but you don't see her in the game. it's I was a bit like, but if they have DLC, that makes sense. I completely went on like a media like blackout after E3 because I don't want to know about this game, man.
Yeah.
All I saw was like billions of trailers and stuff like that. It's like I understand it. I understand like the PR cycle and everything like that, but it's like Spider-Man. Everyone's going to get it anyway. You don't really need to show this game.
Yeah, completely. It's it's the fastest selling game in the UK for this year.
Makes sense.
Was Far Cry 5 before.
Makes sense also. I'd imagine, I don't know. In fact, you know what? I'd imagine Red Dead might top that.
Yeah, maybe. You've got.
It's not a well-known name as well as Spider-Man, but I imagine, Red Dead is gonna.
Yeah, it's got being multi-platform on its side. Obviously, Far Cry 5 sold on
True.
PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Spider-Man is just on PS4.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, massively. For
I thought you were just on about PS4, but if it's like across all platforms,
no, it's across the board. And Red Dead is just a console game, isn't it? There's no PC release, so it's just going to be it's just going to be PS4 and Xbox at the moment.
I can't wait, Ben.
We've got a little bit of time. Got a little bit of time until Red Dead comes out. Loads of time to talk about Spider-Man.
Yes, let's stop looking forward.
I haven't finished it. And we were chatting earlier about sort of like the place that I'm at. I'm not sure how far through
You're still in Act 2. I think you're almost at the end of Act 2. I think.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was kind of in acts.
Neither did I until
I hit the end of Act 1. Like, okay, yeah, I understand. I get this. You can see that they're doing this kind of, each act has its own kind of self-contained story, and you move on a little bit from then. There's this big reveal or something happens, then you move into the next act. And kind of from what I'm doing, I can guess that if it's not the mission I'm on, it's going to be kind of the next maybe mission that kind of rounds out what's going on in the story. I've kind of got no idea how long I've been playing for, really. Like you, I started it on Sunday, but my gaming chunks with it have been much smaller. So I think Sunday I played it for Sunday I played it for maybe 2 hours. Monday I played a little bit at lunch. So maybe Monday I got in another couple of hours. And it's been the same kind of every day. Tuesday was a couple of hours, Wednesday was a couple of hours. So I mean, I probably only played between say 7 to 10 hours, somewhere around that. I've been doing a few side missions. I did the Black Cat ones as soon as they opened up because I was super interested in what was going to happen. That's a little bit I found them a little bit boring, the Black Cat ones. You're just doing the same kind of thing each time. It's not the sort of the funnest kind of side thing to do.
I think that's a good place to like speak about like the outside of the story, the overall package of the game, because I imagine you're enjoying the story a fair bit.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the story.
Good. I think it's well written. I like the the characters. We'll touch a bit more on story later, but just as you're saying, like the side missions, this is a very, very generic open world. Very generic.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love like all the things you could do.
Okay.
It's like it's how I felt about Mafia 3.
Yeah.
Super generic, almost monotonous almost, kind of side missions, side tasks that repeat ad nauseum. But in Mafia 3, I absolutely like did everything because I was just so like enraptured by the just the mechanics of the game. I really liked stealth, even though it was like the AI was completely dumb. I like the stealth and like this. It's like I like the mechanics of the game, how it felt and how the gameplay felt enough to, see through all the side missions. I think I got the trophy for doing all the side missions in Spider-Man.
Okay.
It's like,
it's
like it never became not fun for me because I think the overall gameplay and the feel of Spider-Man and the combat, and we'll get more into that obviously. It just felt so great. It's like, even if it is just the same thing over and over again, it's like it's sort of like if you like I don't know, beer. You know, if you're just drinking the same beer but you really love it over and over again, it's fine because it's beer and you love it.
And
who cares if there's no variety? You know, people drink Carling from now until the day they die.
As long as they enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how I felt about it. It felt about Spider. It's like drinking a Carling, but it's like, I mean, this isn't the most exciting or, you know, most tasty beer.
Yeah.
But I like beer, and I'll drink it.
I mean, I feel similarly about some parts. So the kind of the open world elements are almost split a little bit, and they try and merge slightly, but I almost find that you've got like the side missions, which are presented very well, give you a little bit of story, sometimes involve villains, you know, minor kind of villains and things, from Spider-Man canon, but they make you invested in what you're doing, you know, as the story missions do, versus some of the other stuff, which I'm kind of suggesting are collectibles. So the Black Cat stuff is kind of like a collectible. The little research pods that Harry Osborn Harry Osborn that gets you to go to those research pods. Whilst they're kind of collectibles, but they're kind of little missions as well.
Yeah, I really liked the research ones because they were different almost every time.
Yes,
I really liked about it. It's like it's not recycling the same thing. It's like you're using the mechanics of the game and changing it up slightly every single time, and I really appreciated that because this does just feel like a generic open world, many of which we've seen and played over the years. They could have easily just been like, do this every single time, but no, it's a bit different. So
exactly, and that kind of I'm sort of sat in this almost like middle ground where I'm kind of thinking, it is kind of generic, but it feels like they've almost, whilst they've taken a lot of those open world kind of tropes and just used them, almost as Horizon did. Horizon had a lot of those kind of open world tropes. They just tried to do a little bit extra with them. Yeah, I think Spider-Man has done the same sort of thing. It's just tried to put something else on top of those kind of those those open world collectibles or side missions or stuff. I mean, one of the research station missions or tasks was go and collect some algae and then go up onto a building.
You're basically an environmental scientist.
And then climb up to a higher building and then dive off and smash towards the ground and then swing. And that was kind of like, oh, that was nice, because in the last one I was jumping through clouds of fog, and you know they do
clouds,
they do mix it up, and kind of stuff like that just looks to highlight the one of the best things about Spider-Man, which is traversing around the open world
and the depth of like the combat as well, because like the depth of the moves, you know, because you're using a lot of different moves. Like you're just thinking, like one of the research labs requires you to use like the ground pound, and it's like I wasn't using that as much. I knew it was there, and I used it now and then for like sometimes crowd control with lots of enemies. Yeah, but it was just nice to be like, oh yeah, that mechanic exists, and you're incorporating it into this mission. I thought that was a really smart way of doing it. Pretty cool.
It does, and it allows you to, or at least reminds you that that extended move set is there. That you're not just going in and bash, swing and kick them, do a finisher, disarm them, and then bash, swing, kick, finisher, and having to repeat the same thing. There's tons of stuff to do in the combat. And it's very versatile. I've got a couple of other things to say about kind of like the open world elements, but we're moving into combat a little bit. But I think they worked really well on taking that kind of, as everyone has said, taking that Arkham formula taking
What?
the idea,
Really? That was an inspiration? I couldn't tell.
taking that formula, but applying it to Spider-Man to make it a little bit more fluid, to allow his skill set to kind of work with that. So you can wrap people up, you can you can swing kick off of them, latch onto a building and then swing and kick them. Some of the finishers are, it's a nice little thing just to be able to stop one enemy and finish them off, just to build up your, I think it's focus or something they call it. And still be able to kind of on the fly change between like abilities and gadgets and stuff to then change up how you're fighting or take on an enemy in a different way. And I think the game is paced very well in its combat encounters. That it starts quite easily with sort of generic grunts and moves you up to more specialized kind of enemies who then are within those kind of grunts. There may be 2 or 3 different specialists with a couple of other people.
And they tie it in with the story, like new like factions and stuff like that. They're integrated into the enemies that you meet in combat, which is cool. But I'll just flat out say I think it's one of my favourite combat systems ever. Right?
Nice.
It is up there. I mean, it obviously takes a lot from the Arkham games, and I love the Arkham games bar night. But it's I mean, Batman's more a tank. He's more on the ground. He hasn't got like super spider mutant powers, so he's much more grounded in the combat, and it's much more visceral. Whereas this is very more, as you say, fluid and got more range of movement and everything. And I prefer it to the Arkham games combat, but it's all well and good saying that, because this is, I mean, from where Asylum is, this is a game that has come out almost 10 years later, so there's obviously much more they can do with the tech. And I just love how seamless everything is. Like, swinging around and then just dropping right into combat. Yeah. And just, in combat, they give you the tool set and they don't limit you in any single way, technically or creatively. And when you were saying, when we were speaking on Discord to each other, you were saying, haven't really gone into the skill tree yet. Yeah. I said you should really focus on that, because it just makes it branches even more, and it just makes the combat feel even more rewarding and even more fun. So completely. Yeah.
I didn't even look into it after it kind of twigged, but with kind of the little encounters that you get throughout the city. The combat encounters, you occasionally, or you will get like bonus objectives to do, which might be pinning
those
people
are
against
really
the wall
fun.
and stuff like that. And one of them was disarm 5 enemies. And I didn't know you could disarm enemies. I hadn't even realised that. And obviously it's an upgradable skill, which I hadn't unlocked at the time. And I sort of like, disarm enemies, I'll look at it in a little bit. I just want to swing around the city for the moment. Yeah. Completely forgot about it until I started to explore that skill tree. And I'm like, I had something like 20 points. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do this. Oh cool, yeah, all right, I'll do this. Oh, yeah,
20? Jeez.
I
think the most I had was like 10, and I was like, Lucy, what have you been doing?
Yeah.
I'll upgrade those.
And then it's kind of, the game, it takes you through a few little tutorial bits, and it did say to me, you can upgrade your equipment as well and make it more powerful, or give it better recharge, or whatever you do to upgrade the different gadgets that you have. But again, I'd kind of ignored a lot of that until I'd maybe explored a little bit more, done a few more of the open world elements to give me the currencies, the tokens you need to be able to upgrade certain things and unlock certain things.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up those like bonus objectives, because those just, I think that is a absolutely masterful touch to this game, because it's like, it makes you think, oh yeah, maybe I can do that, or hold on, as you say, I've forgotten how to do that. I can do that. Look in the move list and familiarize yourself with all those things. But the upgrade tree and like the gadgets and the suits and everything like that, I thought it was really easy to understand, because I mean there's going to be a lot of comparisons drawn to God of War. I don't want to make those comparisons because it's two completely different games.
Yeah.
But I was very much intimidated by the God of War like skill tree and upgrades and stuff. I didn't understand it, like all the runes and this and that. It was just so complicated, and it wasn't until like the end game. I didn't even know it was the end game, but I was like, maybe I should really upgrade now because I imagine things are going to start getting harder, and then the game ended. But I was like, and which is a shame because I didn't get the most out of that combat system because that combat system is really deep. It's far deeper than Spider-Man's. I mean, there's a lot of depth to Spider-Man's, but in terms of the move list and the move sets and stuff like that. But in terms of what you can do in God of War, I think that's on the next level. But
yeah, completely.
I found that it was quite easy to understand the upgrade system and the skill tree in this game, and just like, yes, make it for dum-dums like me. Yeah. But God of War felt like a fighting game.
But God of War has always been that kind of hack and slash kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The upgrade stuff, I think we kind of discussed it and thought that maybe it was a little much for that kind of game. But
it was confusing how they explained it because they throw all of that at you like immediately.
Yeah.
And it's like I cannot comprehend this and the runes and this and creating this at the shop and then equipping it on Atreus and then Kratos and then your sword and then axe rather. It was like
I think maybe Spider-Man has a bit of a broader kind of reach or a broader
for
audience,
dum-dums.
perhaps. God of War is is it 15? Is it an 18? I don't remember, but it's kind of it's not aimed at. I wouldn't have thought
it's like. I bet that the game could pass for like T. I don't know why.
Maybe. Were there any moves in this God of War? I don't remember.
No, you can't have sex with anyone in this God of War. But apart from like chopping off somebody's head, or maybe I guess you'd like mash up some ogres and stuff like. Maybe it's probably
rip, like the Valkyries. You rip their wings off the back of the off the back.
Yeah, I only did like 2 of those. I was like,
it's quite violent. So I don't know.
Possibly, I'd say, what's T? What's teen? What is a 12? Teenager? 12. Is it 12? So maybe 15. Yeah.
Yeah.
Peggy 12.
I think exactly. I think Spider-Man is perhaps. It reaches like a younger. Whilst it reaches us, it also reaches maybe like a younger audience as well. So. Making those systems and those upgrade systems a little simpler makes sense to kind of allow everyone to understand them, to get behind them, to use them and utilize them. And as we were saying, kind of some of the side missions, the research stations and stuff, they want you to use moves and things that maybe you haven't used before. So everything kind of works really well to get you to like be the best Spider-Man you can be and use everything he has.
That's true.
Within his arsenal, in his move set, to basically just live the best Spider-Man fantasy possible. Like you say, it works seamlessly. Like swing around and then just drop into a group of enemies and start an encounter with them. It just works really well. They've got a nice little slow-mo kind of aiming system as well. As you're if you're going through flying through the sky, you pick the item that you want, you can slow-mo it and then just start firing stuff off.
Or you can even just equip the camera as he's swinging about and just do that.
Just right in the middle of an encounter, just start taking photos of them. Guys,
But as you say, this everything. I mean, I think the 2 big words from this game I'm going to take is like seamless and money, because this game just stinks of money. This is what I thought about like Uncharted 4. I could just smell it. I mean, Sony and Marvel must have backed up like six dump trucks just worth of money to like Insomniac store, because I mean, I think that's what, like Mafia 3, they spent all the money on like the story. I think in this game they spent all the money on like feeling like the tech, and it is Insomniac's tech and they own it, and which is great. And I mean, there's a lot of you can see Sunset Overdrive in this game a lot, and that's why I was so excited for Spider-Man, because Sunset Overdrive is a fantastic game. unappreciated. I think more people should have played it, but I was just so because the traversal system in that was so dynamic and like fluid and fun. I was like, Spider-Man's gonna feel even better like 4 years down the line. But
I mean, only 6 people own Xbox Ones, don't they? So
true. So only 2 people played Sunset Overdrive.
be interesting to see what the what the attachment rate is for Xbox Ones, especially for kind
I think it's
for
really
first party or exclusive games versus
I
Sony.
think...
With Spider-Man being like the fastest selling game, you've got to imagine it's high for PS4.
I'd imagine Spider-Man's probably going to be like the highest, but I mean, most first party titles on both consoles, the attachment rate is really low, which is shocking. It was really low for Xbox for sure, but when you think like I'm sure they came out with like Last of Us and like Uncharted 2 and 3 figures, and there was like the attachment rate was pretty poor, and it was like, and that's always been the case, apart from if you're Nintendo and you're still selling Mario Kart 8 and you sell more copies of Breath of the Wild than actual Switches for ages.
Which is weird.
But it's like, unless you're Nintendo, those figures are really poor, but that's just the way it is. But
I seem to remember it was years ago. PlayStation 4 was out, but I remember another podcast. I can't remember which one it was, whether it was Beyond the IGN PlayStation podcast or the one Kind of Funny did, PS I Love You. But they were talking about attachment rates between PS4 and Vita.
Yeah, Vita's
and Vita
really
is
high.
Super high.
Yeah, that's because there's 2 games.
7 games. On average, 7 games per console, whereas PS4 was down to like 3 or something like that. And obviously there's a lot of people out there that they buy a next generation content, and exactly FIFA, Madden, or Call of Duty, and that is like the game that they play all year. And we've spoken about this before. There's people like that that just they won't buy Spider-Man. They're not interested in it. They're waiting for the next Call of Duty to come out or the next FIFA to come out, and that is what they're going to buy. That's what they're going to play. So it kind of makes sense with a handheld, at least with something like Vita, which doesn't have those experiences on. That the people that kind of gravitate towards owning something like that, and I imagine it's probably quite similar for like things like 3DS, and maybe was similar for like Game Boy and stuff. That people buy a lot more games because they're not quite as fleshed out. The hardware can't quite drive what your home console of the time can do. So on a home console, people with a Switch probably own Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, maybe Mario Kart, and
maybe Splatoon, Arms,
maybe.
But it's surprising how Nintendo's they do it, man. But it's like that's Nintendo. You're not going to be able to, I mean, obviously, first party games are locked to the console, but it's Nintendo have just been around for longer, and it's like their series are just way more iconic, and it's like you're not going to be able to play Zelda anywhere else. Not going to be able to play Mario anywhere else. That's why they don't depreciate in value. And it's like, but I have to say, like, absolute props to Sony, because games, first party games especially, small attach rate. I mean, Spider-Man will knock it out of the park, but Spider-Man's a known quantity, like God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us,
Death Stranding.
I mean, well,
it might have Kojima attached to it, but
just let's not talk about it.
What the fuck is it?
But it's like, to put that amount of money into into high risk games, and they come out the best games of the generation so far. Like, massive props to them, because I mean, I understand Microsoft. Like, if I was a company, I just want to put all my money into games as a service. I wouldn't be like, screw creativity. Where's the money? I'll be like, you see that game that looks like Fortnite? Put it into that. And I'd be like, I would definitely go through with Microsoft. But it's still amazing in this day and age that Sony are putting so much time and effort and money into these tentpole games,
Mm.
and it shows, you know. Good.
It does.
They sell well, but
Yeah, and
it'll never be like a Far Cry 5 or a For Honor, which was like one of the best selling games when it came out that year. And
was it?
yeah.
I imagine people, or if it's one of the best selling games when it came out, I imagine people after, say, a week, that like drop off rate.
Oh yeah,
people playing must have been
multiplayer
massive,
games, yeah.
Because
But,
that was kind of seen, at least kind of like in the industry. For Honor was almost seen as a bit of a joke, really.
it was, yeah, but it was one of the best selling games of that year, and it's like, as was Ghost Recon Wildlands, which was practically broken when it came out. And it's like, once you get your player base and you churn out DLC, and once you have like something like Destiny, and you can literally charge people 8 times a year for new content, which people still not happy about. It's like you've on to a winner.
They still pay it.
I don't understand that at all.
Oh,
and that's something that I'll never understand, you know? Never. But and how they get away with it. It's like, I don't care how good the gameplay feels. You're not making me buy a game 8 times a year. Okay, not 8, but 3. In the course of its lifetime, yes, 3, and 2 of them be absolute duds, and then you feel like, oh, but this is like the Taken King. What does that mean? What does that mean? Shouldn't it be? It shouldn't have that how the original game felt. Why are you still giving this game your time, money, and effort? I don't. Spider-Man, how do you feel about the story?
I've opened another beer. I'm going to talk about my other beer first.
Yeah, let's.
I have opened up. Do I say it correctly, or do I say it how I want to say it? From Gruthaus. Or Gruthaus, however it's pronounced, the Heller Honig Bock. There's lots of other German words on this that I have no idea what they are. However, I know what alcohol is, and it's 8%. It's a Bock.
Yeah.
It's 8%. It's made by Gruthaus. It was part of the Beer 52 Oktoberfest box. It was the biggest beer I think I had, so I thought I'd have it today.
Nice. I'm torn which one I should have next. They both sound really good. They're both Siren beers.
Oh, okay.
Ooh. One is called The Sky Was Pink. And it's an India Pale Ale with collaboration with Deya, who are the best. And I have another one, and it's called Much Ado About Muffin, which is a blueberry muffin pale ale in collaboration with Lervig.
Is this Rainbow Project beers?
No.
When's Rainbow Project?
It already came out. It came out.
I thought it came out. This is why, yeah.
No, these aren't.
Beers. Okay.
No, not as far as I know. No, because I think because it's the last one that they're ever doing, and they were all barrel aged. So
Oh.
And I think they sold out pretty quickly. Because I heard about it's like I only realised that it was like. I mean, it's always around this time each year because I remember we had them at the Bristol Craft Beer Festival.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
And I also bought a box, so it was always around September, but I just completely forgot about it. And I was like, you know what? I'm sure they're great, but I didn't feel like dropping like £60 on like a box of beer.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know which one to have.
I'm interested in the pink one.
Okay, I'll have the pink one.
Okay.
Not a fan of blueberry muffins, are you?
Blueberry muffins are fine. They're kind of a known quantity, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
I know what a blueberry muffin
is. But in a beer? That's new.
I guess it's a little bit bready.
Yeah.
It's a little sweet. Blueberries, perhaps.
Yeah, I'll probably have this after the podcast. See what it's like. Yeah.
I'm guessing massively here.
Yeah.
Does it give you any? Info on it? I don't remember Siren having much on their bottles.
Let's have a look. Oh, it does. It says it was a hazy day in Belgium when Carl and Theo, I think those are the Deya guys, dreamed up with this picturesque IPA. Citra, Mandarina, and Palatao Blanc hops provide the juice. Hibiscus provides the floral notes, drinkability, and beautiful colour. Then our house strain, Vermont yeast, brings it all home. So yeah, hibiscus is in it, Alato Blanc, Citra, Mandarina. So it's going to be fruity as hell.
Yeah, yeah. Little spiced, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely fruity on the nose. It smells like a Deya beer. I guess it's going to look like a Deya beer and going to taste like a Deya beer.
Like just super hazy.
Yeah, they have a very distinct style and look to their beers. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Proper juice bomb. Oh, it's a bit pinky and orangey as well.
Ooh, like pink grapefruit.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely getting a lot of citrus on the nose. Very tropical and light fruits.
Nice.
Ooh.
Ooh.
A bit of peach on the nose as well, which you may or may not be a fan of.
I'm definitely coming round to peach in my beers. Definitely. How's it taste?
I don't. It's very just like the last beer. It's very fruity, very wet finish.
Yeah.
Very easy drinking. It's quite smooth. It's quite light. What was the percentage on this actually? I didn't look at that. 6.4. Tastes lighter than that. But it starts off really, really, really good. A lot of fruits, especially the tropical fruits. Everything that you get on the aroma is there in the taste.
Yeah.
At the end, I think it's because I'm expecting like a Deya beer. At the end, it tapers off slightly.
Okay.
It's not quite that, but it's very, very good.
Nice.
I'll have a bit more and give you some more thoughts.
Okay.
How's yours? Looks like another lager.
It does, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It looks exactly like the last beer.
Exactly the same as the last beer. A little more head to this one than the last. Not much. It's not quite as carbonated as the last one, but it's full of flavour. Absolutely full. Yeah. On the nose, I'm getting a lot of banana, a little bit of it borders not quite that bubblegummy kind of estery sort of feel to it, but it's kind of what are the lollipops called? They're not like classic lollipops. They are I don't remember what they're called.
I don't eat sweets, I don't know.
But that is what it is. It's like one of the lollipops that I'm not remembering the name of. It's kind of almost like hard, kind of like marshmallowy, which is pink and yellow. It's like a rectangle on a little white stick.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Like
I have no idea.
Lollipops. A drumstick. There we go.
Is that what they're called?
That's what they're called.
Probably haven't had one of those in about 20 years, so. But I think everyone knows just from the description.
I've enjoyed little birthday parties that Evelyn has gone to.
Yes.
Because she's not so good with sugar, so any sweets that she gets, I just get to consume instantly.
The perks of the job.
Exactly. Yes. But it's got some banana. It's got a little bit of that kind of sweet.
A bit of bubblegum.
Almost bubblegummy, and in the flavour, you are getting both of those come through, but you're getting this big sweet flavour as well, which isn't quite the same as the nose. Whether that's the 8%, whether that's the alcohol coming through as well, just to kick that sweetness up slightly. It doesn't, you can't tell it's the alcohol sweetness, but as that sweetness kind of fades, you're left with a lovely little kind of burn on the tongue, which is probably the alcohol as well. But it's got this slight spice to it.
Okay.
And that's maybe adding to that little bit of burn as well. It's a lovely finish, and it's wet as well. Yeah. So whilst
it's not dry at all, is it? No. Okay.
It kind of walks the line a little bit. It's still wet now. It's still wet.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it goes, and your mouth just goes.
Yeah.
and it's just dry instantly.
Yeah,
almost.
so it's one of those in between ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's got this lovely wetness to it where the flavour kind of remains, and then suddenly it's kind of like, oh, here's that burn, and that wetness goes and it becomes dry, and you've got that burn on your tongue as well.
Yeah.
I really like this. This is really good.
That's good.
8%,
Ooh.
just down in one.
Yeah. That was like me in the first one. Going back to the Sky Was Pink. This is very easy drinking as well. It's like, and it's really light. It's like you could give this to a minor and say, "Here, drink this grapefruit juice." And because it's, I mean, the carbonation is just not there anymore. There's no more head to it. It's just very drinkable, but it is still very hoppy. Nowadays, I think I don't know if I just notice it less, but I rarely come across like very, very hoppy beers. I remember that was all the craze, like getting something as hoppy as you can.
Yeah.
Like, you know, several years ago. But even though it's very hoppy, there's not much bitterness on the end. So I don't know how they managed that, but they did. But yeah, it's like juice. It's I don't think it has the Deya wow factor for me, but it is. I wouldn't call it a juice bomb, but it's just very juicy. It's like blurs the line between being like just juice and beer, but that hoppiness, you know, brings it back around. It brings it back. Oh yes, this is a beer that I'm drinking. So maybe you couldn't give it to a minor. Be like, why is this like mix between juice and fizzy pop? You're like, it's the good stuff. It's called beer.
I'm not sure whether it was the last episode or you know, say in the last 3 episodes. I think I had a similar kind of beer, which you were kind of expecting that juice bomb. It was like a double IPA or an 8% IPA or something like that, made by people who notably kind of make, you know, those juice bomb kind of beers. But actually, it was a little bit muted. It was a little bit more balanced out than kind of like than you were expecting from a juice bomb. So maybe people are kind of refining that craft a little bit more and
possibly
pulling back on that big flavour to make something that's maybe a little bit more refined, that kind of is slightly, it isn't quite as juicy, which is a little bit more beery, which kind of this nice middle ground between a fruity IPA and a juice bomb, and they're kind of trying to work through that scale a little bit, perhaps.
Yeah, this feels like something that I'd have if, like, I'm not in a very, you know, drinking mood, but it's like, you know, other than water, I only drink beer, really, but it's like, you know, I want something that's light, even though it's 6.4%, it still feels very light, very easy drinking. Yeah, this is it, but, I don't know, I mean, I think, this is first and foremost, it's in a Siren bottle, but when I see things in collaboration with Deya, I'm just immediately, like, all about the Deya. But yeah, it's still a very, very good beer, and it's, I don't know. Oh, yeah, I'm drinking it in my, I don't know if that's why you said, like, Rainbow Project, because I'm drinking it in, like, the Rainbow Project glass from last year.
Yes. No, I didn't even notice that.
It's come full circle.
I think it was more, I was thinking Rainbow Project, because Rainbow Project is often collaborations
with other,
which then with other people,
and
which then pick
collabs,
colour as well. Pink, although not a colour on the rainbow, so
it'll do. That's pink is the new indigo, because no one remembers indigo. No. Or is it violet?
Or violet, maybe.
It's violet. Yeah, violet's the.
Yeah, we've remembered both of them, but other people, they won't know. They won't know.
Yes.
So, should we move back into the Spotted Man?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about the combat. I think we've talked about the open world. I think possibly the last thing to talk about is like the story, and obviously we're not going to get into too much to it. Yeah. But we'll still talk about the story. And
before we talk about
the
story,
swinging, maybe.
The swinging. I wanted to kind of mention one area that I think it lacks a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
And that's like the music. So
yes, that's a very good point, actually. Yeah.
We've noticed a lot with loads of games recently that music has been super important, that it has kind of built like tone and atmosphere very well with certain games, and obviously a lot has gone into to the music to kind of help and support what's going on. With Spider-Man, I almost feel like it's kind of a bit too like generic superhero-esque kind of music. It's very much like just background Avengers music. Avengers has got a theme tune. The film series has got a theme tune, and it's one of those that anytime you play like a music game or like a music intros kind of game, it's like, oh, these are from films, and they play that one from Avengers. I'm always like, I've got no idea what this is. It's very unremarkable. It's just a little bit generic, and it's a little bit kind of superhero-y and stuff.
Yeah.
And this feels exactly like that.
I fully agree, but I enjoyed it.
I enjoy it, and it kind of it's so.
I think it's very sparse.
Though.
Yeah, I think it's sparse, and I don't know if they reuse the track or if it's an extended track. I don't know, but I fully agree. It's like I should have prefaced this like conversation by saying off air. I'd be like, we can talk about Spider-Man as long as we just don't bring up any Marvel film like. After 2008, because I don't care. I don't care about any Marvel film that I'm just not into it. I haven't seen any of them since maybe the first Iron Man, which I did.
The Incredible Hulk.
Was that the Ang Lee one?
Yes, with.
I never saw that.
Not with Edward Norton, the other guy.
Isn't it Edward Norton? Wasn't that the Ang Lee one?
The Ang Lee one?
I think so.
Oh,
that's the only.
The one before.
But they made one after it.
They made one before it. They made one before it.
Do you mean like the one that came out in like the 80s? Eric Banner.
No, Eric Banner.
Isn't
Eric Banner, not Bruce Banner. Eric Banner.
Isn't that the name of the Hulk though?
No, Bruce Banner's the name of the Hulk.
Oh, and the actor was called.
In one of the Hulk films, he was played by a guy called Eric Banner.
My head hurts. Okay.
No, not the Lou Ferrigno fucking TV show.
That's what I'm thinking.
From the fucking 80s or whatever
what I was
it was.
thinking.
No.
That was cool, but anyway.
Everyone loves fucking Lou, just like it's painted green with crazy fucking hair going on.
Yeah, that was good. But anyway, I don't know anything. Well, clearly we've just established I don't know anything about what's come out in terms of superhero films after 2008, so don't ask me. But the music is sparse. But it did very much remind me of I don't know if it's ingrained in me because I don't know how similar it is to like the Avengers theme tune. I don't know if it's just by osmosis that I know those tunes, but it more sounded like just like superhero films of old, like especially Spider-Man, and just like the cartoon, which I absolutely adored and grew up with and stuff like that.
Not the theme tune, not the fucking Spider-Man theme tune.
No, but it's just it just reminded me of Spider-Man, and it's obviously, I mean, this game is called Marvel's Spider-Man, so they obviously had a lot of. Maybe not a lot, some influence over the game, stuff like that, which I might speak about more of actually. But but I don't know. I saw like a tweet from like Brian Altano from IGN, and he was saying the first thing you should do is turn off the music and just play, New York City.
Yeah, I saw that. Play some Wu-Tang, play some Nas.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I was like, this doesn't even feel like that grimy kind of New York anyway. It's very sensationalized most of the time. They do get a lot of like, nice. I've never been to New York, but from what you can imagine as like a foreigner, they do, get the feel of the city right for the most part. But even when there's like thugs and prisoners and criminals on the streets, it does seem very sensationalized. It doesn't seem like gritty New York.
Completely, it's very comic booky. It is very kind of almost like pop art kind of. Yeah. In comparison to like Batman, which was a little bit more kind of grounded,
Yeah.
a little bit more muted as well. Which, for at least for the Arkham games, for both kind of for Asylum and for City, it had this very muted kind of color palette and was offset quite a lot by things that popped out. So everything was kind of greys and browns and dark colors, and then suddenly you'd have like a neon sign kicking out. Whereas Spider-Man is like blue skies.
You play a lot of the game during the day. There is like night parts. There's no like day and night cycle until you finish the game. It's basically throughout the story. You have like a rainy New York, you have a dark New York, most of the time it's during the day. It's not like GTA 4 that looks a bit more like New York. Or probably the best example, 50 Cent's Bulletproof. Go play that, everyone.
Jesus, what can you even play that on now?
PS2. Why they haven't remastered that, I don't know. But
whilst you're there, go back and play like Def Jam Vendetta as well, just to really fucking get into that groove.
Yeah, the devs were like teasing, like it's like, should we bring Def Jam back? It's like,
fuck yeah.
Like, no, it wasn't the devs. It's like the label itself, and I was like, yes, yes, please, but I don't want it with like contemporary artists. I still want like DMX from playing from behind bars.
Rappers in there, like of course you do.
Don't want whoever's around nowadays. I don't want Drake. Come on, what's he gonna do?
Throw like hats to the Nintendo Wii eShop, fucking.
Yeah. From that era, all I remember is like Def Jam, like Vendetta and stuff like that, and the Simpsons wrestling game.
Like, what was the other 50 Cent?
And
Blood on the Sand.
Yeah, that was like 360 era.
Was that 360? Fuck, was it?
Yeah, Jesus. I remember like 50 Cent Bulletproof, which I loved, by the way. Unapologetically.
Fuck me, 50 Cent.
I really like that. I think I replayed it on like hard. I didn't just play it once. Simpsons. I think Bulletproof was maybe a bit after, but like Simpsons wrestling, the Celebrity Deathmatch game, Def Jam. Anyway, forgot where I was. New York, music.
Yes.
It is. I enjoyed it because, as I say, it made me nostalgic for those previous Spider-Man like properties and stuff like that. But it is very sparse, and it is. I think
it is.
Sometimes it does like swell, but it's not as dynamic as like Doom, which is probably the best example. So it's a bit unfair to compare to Spider-Man, but it's not like you're not getting into it as such, and it's not tailoring like the music to your gameplay, which is a bit of a shame. But
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it just sort of kicks in a little bit. Like I said, it's very subservient to kind of what you're doing, and that's fine. I'm not there swinging through the city thinking, oh, I wish the fucking music was banging.
It doesn't feel like that game, you know, because it's like when you're going through the city and you're using your web slinger, you hear those sounds. I mean, in every other part of the sound department, it's great because you feel completely. You hear like the web slinging and like wrapping enemies up in your webs and hitting someone on a counter and that whole whoosh, like just like in Batman and stuff like that. And when you're swinging and it's like it's quite quiet when you're up on the rooftops, but as you go down towards the city, you hear like more ambient noise and like pedestrians and like traffic, and that's really cool. But yeah, I think in terms of like the music, they could have certainly done a lot more, for sure.
They could definitely, and I mean, yeah.
But I'm glad you brought it up because I completely forgot about that, and that is one of my. Even though I didn't really enjoy hearing that music, it's like I didn't want to put on another soundtrack because it's like this is what the devs intended, and that's what I wanted to experience.
Yes, yeah.
And it was the same with the Spider-Man suit. The great thing about this game is that you can unlock new suits which come with new powers, but you can always stay with the the suit, what it looks like, that aesthetic that you
Yeah.
like, you can always switch back to that, but get the abilities of other suits. So, which I think is really good, really well done, really nice touch to the game. But I always wanted like the white, red, blue, and white suit that Insomniac made.
That's the one I'm constantly wearing. Yes, I've crafted some suits basically to get their abilities, and then just switch straight back to the Insomniac created kind of Spider-Man suit.
Because it's like, this is their creative vision. I want to play what the devs intended. It's not like with Sunset Overdrive, you could literally customize your own character, like even male and female and stuff like that. I was just like, you know what? I mean, it's nice that they put all those touches in there, and it's like people obviously, well, they were complaining, but people are obviously like,
people will always complain.
Yeah, but it's just like, this is what you create. This is what you wanted Spider-Man to look like. I will play through that. I want to see your vision all the way through, and I think it's really cool that they allowed you to do that. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on the story, not too in depth. How are you finding it so far? You're in. So
I think it works well. Like we were talking earlier about acts, I think it works well to split the story and to have missions which follow on from each other as one kind of act, and that is something big happens at the end of that, and it then moves on to to the next part. And I think the way they've kind of structured the story, at least up until kind of the point I'm at, which is maybe towards the end of Act 2, works very well. And I assume there's only 3 acts, as there is in most stories.
Macbeth.
But I think I think so far it's working very well. I'm not invested, but I'm interested. I do deviate a little bit, and I'm maybe a little bit more interested in the side missions than I am in the main mission, because obviously they're very self-contained.
Yes.
They tell you this little kind of almost as if you're reading a comic and you get like 3 pages worth of panes, just kind of like, here's a little bit right in the middle of the kind of in the action, like a break from kind of what you're doing. You just stumbled upon this lady who needs help doing something, or has spotted something, or you've encountered this other villain and what they're doing, and that's kind of like a side mission. It doesn't actually count towards the main mission. So I think story-wise, I'm following it and I like it, but I'm not invested, I suppose.
That's exactly how I felt. And I mean, this isn't a spoiler at all, because unless you've been completely like not following this game, I mean, me and you both watched E3 and the E3 demo. You know who the antagonists are in this game, and even if you don't, you can probably guess, just from playing through the game. And this story is very, 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 very backloaded with like the action and the set pieces and the story, and everything just culminates at the end. So I felt, even though, as you say, I was invested in the story, I did a lot of side activities. By the end of the game, I'd done most of the side activities, which is rare for me, because it's like usually I'm just mainlining through the story sometimes. But I mean, that's a testament to how much I enjoyed the side missions as well.
Yeah.
But, I wasn't, even though Pete is always, he's always talking to himself, always, in a monologues and stuff like that. And like, oh God, I gotta go see Aunt May. She wants to, see me for dinner. Or it's like, oh God, I gotta go see Mr. Lee, or this and that, or I gotta go kill Mr. Negative. It doesn't all, even though they're trying to emphasize that urgency, because at different points in the story, he does say like, "Oh, I've got nothing else to do. I might just check out."
Yes, he does. Yeah.
But a lot of the time, that only happens probably like 3 or 4 times during the game. Most of the time, it's like, "Oh God, I gotta go meet MJ or this and that." I never felt that urgency, because it's like, nothing feels that urgent. Nothing, the city's not on fire yet, and it's just like I'm not too compelled to go straight to the story mission. So I think the pacing is off in this.
I don't think that's just a Spider-Man issue. I think that's just an open world issue in general. The same could have been said for God of War.
The pacing is definitely off in that game.
Yeah, and you can just kind of float about and go to the different little islands on your boat and fight some trolls.
But that's even more linear than Spider-Man, and I think the pacing was certainly an issue in that game.
I think it's more linear in terms of its story and in where it wants you to go.
Yeah.
But again, it's kind of we must go and do this. Nah, mate, I'm just gonna get on the boat over there and just see what's over there. And it's just it's the same with Spider-Man. It's like, I bet I've got to be quick. I'll go and do this before they explode something. You're like, I'll just catch a pigeon or something instead.
Outside of the open world, I think God of War's like pacing, like I just remember that elf bit just like lasting for absolutely forever.
It did. That was very long. Yes. Yeah.
It's like I've been here for like a solid 2 days, and it's even more apt that the end of that, in fact, the middle of it, that Kratos is lost in like that different dimension.
Yeah.
And then Trace is like, "What are you doing? You've been there for days." It's like, yeah, it does feel like I've been in this part of the game for absolutely days. Great game. Anyway.
At least we don't have any of that from kind of no sort of
extended
paused moments or extended moments with Spider-Man. Everything is very well kind of contained and feels like at least each mission is paced very well. Whether the story in general is, obviously it's yet to kind of be seen for me at least, because I haven't got to the end of it yet. But yeah, it almost as kind of like self-contained missions, they do very well, and not kind of overstaying their welcome.
Yeah.
So it kind of, I mean, as an overall sort of package, the story and the kind of like those like little subplots, the side missions and stuff, they're very well written.
Yeah.
And they work very well as kind of like individual things, almost as a comic book would. It's maybe you've got like 10 issues of a comic book which all are part of one run, but actually each story kind of needs to be its own self-contained story to kind of keep people running through the page turning and getting through almost the same as they've kind of structured the missions in a way in Spider-Man. And maybe, I don't know yet, but maybe the kind of the overall story is well done. At least the point I've got to, it hasn't overstayed its welcome, and it feels like it's flowing quite well.
Yeah. I mean, I've finished the game, and I'm very satisfied with how it went and where it was. There are pacing issues, but that's like most video games, and it's very hard to nail down pacing, especially in an open world game. But overall, I'm very satisfied. And we'll obviously, once you finished it, and more time has passed, so if anyone wants to play it and finish it also, we'll be able to dig into it more, because I have other things to say, and it's hard not to say it. Good and bad.
But the problem is, what happens next is, we, the two of us, go to Bristol Craft Beer Festival. So next episode,
finish it by Saturday, so I can talk to you.
I don't think I've got a chance. I'm so busy with work.
Play till 3 a.m. tonight.
I have a child. She hates me. She gets up at 5:30. So we've got Bristol Craft Beer Festival coming up this weekend. So I think at least next episode we'll probably talk about that. Then more than likely next episode or the episode after, Adel is back from his trip, so he'll come back. So then we can't spoil Spider-Man.
He can just like this for 2 hours.
It might not be for a while. So actually, I think for us talking about spoilers, I've probably got ages. In terms of other games to play, I need to finish this game to be able to move on to what's coming next.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, it sounds like it's been holding your attention, as you said, so I think you'll finish it.
Yeah.
If you're ready through Act 2, it only came out on Friday. I think we're forgetting.
It's not been a week.
Yeah, which is crazy. Usually it's like, yeah, I'll buy this and I'll play it. I was like, oh, wait, 2 months later, still haven't picked it up.
Well, and talking about like older games, you know, when we were younger, we may have only had 1 or 2 games in like a 2-month period. So actually, games then held you a lot longer than than maybe they do now. You know, like things like save states and stuff has kind of allowed that longevity of play for you to put down and come back to it in a little while. Whereas, you know, you play a Mega Drive or a SNES game or something, you haven't got those save states. They're only maybe 2 hours long, 3 hours long.
Yeah.
But they're hard and you don't get through the game in one sitting. So actually, you play that game for a month because you get 20% through, or you get 10% through. A couple of days later, you get 20% through. A couple of days later, you get 30% through. And you make your way through the game. You build on that. You get better at playing it.
Yeah.
Spider-Man is
I've replayed Castlevania games this year. The first Castlevania is probably like an hour long. But takes like 18 hours if you ever play that without save states.
Exactly, yeah.
Good old times.
It seems that we've very much had this shift that like Spider-Man is a bit more accessible. It's easy to play, but perhaps it's kind of like hard to master almost. And we have this kind of scale on which people can kind of play it. The same, I suppose, it can be said for something like God of War. You know, God of War was easy enough to just run in and just hack people to pieces, but actually to be able to do kind of all of the moves and to master it and to go and do the
Valkyries?
Was it Muspelheim as well?
Muspelheim,
the fire, the volcano kind of world.
I never went like I'm done.
Exactly. Where you're going through those challenges and you know that by the time you get to the top where you hit that Valkyrie, you need to be kind of like on your game and be able to kind of to play it. Whereas the rest of the game, you could probably put it down and come back to it in a couple of months' time and quite easily kind of pick that up.
Yeah, I didn't upgrade throughout the game. I thought it was quite easy, the combat all the way through, and that's, But I was too intimidated by, going to, like, the arena, like, world and stuff like that and doing more of the Valkyries. So I was like, no, I'm good.
That's why it's optional.
Yeah, but Spider-Man, I think, it's a very easy game. I think I only probably died about... outside of the stealth missions because I just
like the
blew through those. The insta fail. I just blew through those. So it's like, you know what, I don't care if I get caught. The checkpointing in this game overall is very it's really good.
Brilliant. It's really good.
It's really good. But the stealth missions, I was like, the first couple I was like, oh crap, and then by the there's one really cool stealth mission where you're at now, which is so good. It's the same thing, but it's like you're seeing it from a different perspective, and it's so good. Best one in the game. But after that, it's like, I think once you know, it's like, these all occur throughout the games, and you just mainline through it. It's like, I'm just gonna, the AI's stupid enough, I'm just gonna barrel through this, and it's like, whatever. But I think it's an easy game, but I feel like I've mastered the combat. Yeah. To a point where it's like, I'm not obviously a pro player or anything like that. I've mastered the combat enough to get a lot of variety out of it and just find enough new and interesting things and new techniques in it so that every different combat scenario is different and it's rewarding in its own way. Because if you're just mashing the square button, it's going to be boring, but it's like you're mixing everything up and only taking 1 or 2 hits because you're using the full arsenal of the controls and the gadgets and the suit mechanics, and it feels like I've mastered it in that sense.
Well, it's kind of one of those, it's not just the combat, it's also kind of like the traversal. I think Lucy O'Brien put a tweet out saying you feel like a failure if you hit the ground in Spider-Man. You know, once you touch the pavement in Spider-Man, you're like, oh, I failed. You know, obviously I'm massively paraphrasing her tweet there, but yes, it's kind of you do feel like that a little bit. That
I saw that as well.
Everything kind of flows so well that you have such great control over movement and over combat that I think, as I just said, it's easy to play, but it's maybe hard to master. But they need you to feel like a superhero. You have to feel kind of a little bit overpowered, too overpowered, but a little bit overpowered, to kind of have that elation and to have that kind of rush of feeling like a superhero as well, which they've balanced very well. Yeah,
that Insomniac, they definitely do make things easier for you, but not to the point where it feels like you're just winging it. There is a bit of skill involved, but they have put in like little tweaks into the mechanics where it's like, this overcompensated, or this tweaked in direction, or the physics or the trajectory, just so that you feel like you have enough momentum and you feel like you're doing it. It was the same for like Sunset Overdrive, and I recently listened to IGN Unfiltered with Ryan McCaffrey. Great series, but he spoke to Ted Price on the last one, and Ted Price was like saying how in Sunset Overdrive, they, with the shooting mechanics, they did it because you're obviously traversing whilst you're shooting, and in any other game that would feel like impossible. I mean, you just think in like GTA games how hard it is to do drive-by shooting, or driving and you're shooting at the same time, you're not just going to immediately run into a billboard. But they were saying like how they were getting down those mechanics in terms of making you feel like you're hitting the enemies, but the hitbox is big enough, and like the shooting like course corrects enough, but not too much to make you feel like you're doing it yourself, and it's not too much assistance from the game, like aim. And I think that they do that with Spider-Man as well. Like you're about to hit the ground, but it's like you just like a little
you just
as you hit X, and it's like just before you're about to go careening into a wall, they're like, it's like, no, why don't you just? We made you do this. It's not magic. We made you go there. But we're going to make you think that you did that.
Exactly. It's that kind of that superhero fantasy. They've mechanically done that very well. Yeah.
I mean, in terms of superhero games, like this is, I think after Asylum is my favourite. I prefer it. I prefer it over my memories of Spider-Man 2. Obviously, going back to that game nowadays would be completely different, but I have good memories of that game. But it's up there. It's better than Arkham City for me, but that's because of the whole traversal thing, probably.
I think currently for me as well, it's kind of best in the Arkham games. I really enjoyed the Arkham games.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's because I love Asylum.
Yeah.
Asylum's my favourite out of them because it's Metroidvania.
It is, very much.
I think it's the best 3D Metroidvania ever made.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Yeah, City obviously is a bit more of a fairer comparison, I suppose, because it allows that open world kind of feel to it. Well, it is an open world game, so you can kind of almost compare them quite directly.
Yeah,
but. I mean, wasn't Arkham City was during like one night, wasn't it? So it was like perpetual darkness all the fucking time, and it was so fucking depressing.
The highs in that game were like the highest out of the series. I was like, this is what I want. This is like stealth Batman perching from like the gargoyles, taking down bad guys, puzzle solving, weird and interesting characters like Man-Bat turning out of nowhere. It's like goddamn, but the lows in that game were the lowest I've ever felt.
Yeah, completely.
I hated the Batmobile, and they integrated in like every single part of that game, and I couldn't stand it.
Ooh.
I was like, I'm not finishing this.
What was that Night?
Night. No, give me Blackgate and Origins over that any day. I couldn't stand Night. It's like I stopped playing it because I just couldn't take it. It hurt my soul. That game still hurts my soul, considering how good the Arkham games are. But
Yes. Yeah.
just thinking of it, I mean, this game more than anything has made me think about those Arkham games and just thinking. I was googling Arkham Asylum. It's like that was 2009, and how revolutionary that game was, and how many ripples it made in the industry in terms of licensed games, in terms of combat, in terms of Warner Brothers being worth a damn as a publisher as well.
Good, yeah, good.
Everything.
Yeah.
And who Rocksteady were, you know?
And you can pick up. I mean, if you haven't played those games, you can pick up a remastered kind of bundle of.
I'd say play the original, from what I've
Asylum
heard.
and City, kind of. Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, it's all right looking at it on Digital Foundry, but the originals look better than the remaster.
Really? Oh, shit.
And they run better. I think the remaster Asylum runs at 45 FPS, and if not to get too granular, but if you know anything about games, it's 30 or 60. You should not go in between that because of like refresh rates and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just what are you doing? And it's like I remember when it came out and people like comparing screenshots, and it was like the original looks better. You know, it looks better. It looks a bit more darker and gritty, whereas the remaster, it's like it might have got different light boxes or something, or different shaders, but
like
just play the original.
Yeah, they've upped the textures just that little bit, which kind of changes it enough. Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's backwards compatible. I imagine it is. I'm sure it has to be at this point. Both games.
Would they make it backwards compatible if they've got that remastered version coming out?
BioShock did that. Yeah. BioShock went backwards compatible before the remaster came out. I believe they do that with so many games. It's like Modern Warfare 2, 4, Call of Duty 4.
Yes, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
Yeah, I think they put out the remaster, and then it's like Burnout as well. There's so many examples. Both of them exist. That's probably weird. It is weird. It's really weird.
Hey, old games. Try and make some money from them. Why not?
Oh yeah, for sure. Stick them all on Switch, and you'll probably sell more than on PS4, Xbox, and PC combined.
That's it.
In the first launch week.
If Switch had the power to play fucking everything humanly possible, no one would bother any other console or PCs.
I certainly wouldn't.
No.
I'd play Tomb Raider on my Switch. Why not?
But you can't, unfortunately, at the moment.
I'm looking forward to playing that, by the way. I bought it today.
Oh,
it's out tomorrow.
It's out tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that a lot.
Good.
I'm
not quite ready. I'm not quite ready for it yet.
No, you haven't rised or rose as the Tomb Raider yet. Because you didn't play 2015's Game of the Year.
Hey,
you didn't
play
play
Xbox, so for me it could have been 2016's Game of the Year.
That is true.
Again,
or you could have played it. I think it came out on PC in 2016 as well. Actually,
ooh, was it like?
I think it came out like January.
Okay.
It came out on Xbox in the November, I think, and then January was PC, from what I can remember, and then November or whatever for PS4.
Yeah. Well, I might get around to it at some point. It held its value for fucking ages, and then only in the last
probably
couple
on
of months.
PS4, maybe
PS4
not on
has,
Xbox.
Only in the last couple of months has it
dropped
dropped down to like 12 quid or something like that. So I will pick it up at some point. I will.
It's really worth it. Yeah,
in preparation for the.
It's a fantastic game.
What's the new one? Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, it's like Planet of the Apes. Which one's Dawn and Rise and this and that, and it's like, who knows? I can't wait. It'll be interesting to see how I cope with Tomb Raider after Spider-Man, because I rarely play like open world games, let alone 2 in a row. You know, so.
Yeah, it'll be Tomb Raider's a bit of a different one, isn't it? I don't know what they've done with this one.
Apparently,
what they did with Rise.
Exploration. Rise is very much an open but linear game. Yeah. Which I like. I don't like massive open spaces.
Like linear in the terms that it's kind of like giant corridors,
You like
or
going
it's
from
areas to explore, which you then move, it's like the
yes,
Uncharted
yeah.
kind of way to do it. It's an area to explore, which you then
Yes.
move on from.
It's like hub area, corridor,
Yeah.
which is linked to story, new hub world, etc., etc. So, yeah, I think this one is pretty much the same. More emphasis on puzzles and exploration and less on combat, which sounds good. But I mean, if you said that about Rise and the original one, like, yeah, great. But the fact that you can basically be like Arnold Schwarzenegger and like Predator in this game, I want more combat. I want to be like rubbing mud and just.
They've taken it almost taken it back to like the original Tomb Raider games, I suppose, where
Well,
there was a lot more puzzles. There was kind of like Tomb
and
Raider
more
2
swimming.
wasn't very much combat, so
And more swimming, and I'm wondering how the swimming works, because it's like I remember in the first Tomb Raider games and most games, swimming and underwater stuff, absolute worst.
yeah. Yeah, very true.
We'll see.
At least Spider-Man can tread water.
Oh, whenever I understand it's like you're not meant to be, swimming, but jeez,
Just the
it's
worst.
like, come on, mate.
Breaststroke going, like
yeah, you
doesn't
can
even front crawl, just like really swim.
You can defeat guys 6 times your size, and you can't do a front crawl. Get out of here, come on. No.
So at some point in the future, we'll probably give a little bit more of a spoilery chat on Spider-Man, but I think for this week that's probably about us for the week.
I believe so. Yes.
Good. I'm gonna tell everybody what my favourite beer was, because I think it's probably quite apparent from the way I reacted to the two of them. My favourite is from Gruthaus, the Heller Honig Bock. The Portside from Fourpure and Little Creatures was fine.
Yeah.
It was easy drinking. Yeah. I'd have another one, if only because it was so easy drinking.
Yeah.
A nice kind of extra pale ale, but more towards like a lager. This Heller Honig Bock was full of flavour, and I just went back to it, and I went back to it, just constant. And it had that, that wetness which cut off into that kind of dryness, but it wasn't that dryness that was taking me back. It was the flavour. It was kind of experiencing that kind of very banana-y kind of sweet estery kind of flavour constantly that I wanted. So really, really well made, really good, really flavourful. So a very easy pick for me this week.
Yeah. Sounded like you enjoyed a lot of quite some more. I think the accent probably helps as well.
It did. I mean, the Portside took me maybe like 45 minutes to drink. The Gruthaus was gone in 15, 20 maybe.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, both of my beers went down really quickly.
Yeah.
Very easy drinking, very smooth, the both of them. I mean, the sky was pink. I think I was putting a bit more expectation on it because it's a collaboration with Deya, but even so, it was very. It was like a juice bomb without being a juice bomb. It was very juicy, very smooth. There was no carbonation to it after a while. Didn't really have the bitterness, and I do very much like bitterness on the end. And when you think, well, we speak often of like grapefruit flavors, you have the fruitiness and then the bitterness at the end, but it's just very much like the fruit of the grapefruit rather than the aftertaste. But yeah, it's a really good beer. I finished it really quickly, probably quicker than the first beer, but I think I have to give it a shout out to Easy Tiger. Nothing special about it at all. It's a double IPA. It's what you expect. Juicy, fruity. This had, I've had so many beers. Like yesterday I had a 10% beer from Northern Monk, one of their patrons projects. Can't remember the number. I think it's like 8.5 or it might have been 6 point something. I can't remember. But 10%, cherry, tonka beans, and it was 10%. Couldn't tell at all. I mean, they're very good. I mean, brewers nowadays are very good at masking, the high ABV.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
I mean, this one doesn't do it, and it's nice to have like that warming alcohol feel at the pit of your stomach after you drank a bit. But yeah, it's a very good double IPA. It was just both easy drinking, but I think in terms of getting what it says on the tin, and it's just doing what it says it's going to do, I think Easy Tiger takes it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good. So, good beers this week. Good games this week. Good game. Yeah, exactly.
Very good game. One of my favourites of the year.
Hopefully, a good weekend as well. You and I are off to Bristol Craft Beer Festival for Saturday. Mm-hmm. So if anyone has listened to this episode on Friday before Saturday and you're coming to Bristol Craft Beer Festival, go on YouTube, look at our ugly mugs, and then find us Saturday daytime at Bristol Craft Beer Festival.
They're just going to run away as soon as they see.
They come up and they were like, you're these people. We're like, no, we're not. No, we don't know who those people are. Goodbye. Just disappear into a crowd somehow.
Like Homer going back through a bush.
Come and say hi. We'll be there. We'll be partying.
We'll be drinking drunk.
Probably too much. Yep. Yes. Like last year, we'll be fucked pretty quickly.
Yeah. I've printed out the list.
Oh, nice. Good. You've got your spreadsheet
to strategize.
Yep. Yeah. That's good. I'm it's still on my phone at the moment. And I'm just I know the ones I kind of want to pick through, and the places, the brewers I kind of want to pick, and the beers from them that I want. I think I've got my first maybe like 5, but after that, it's kind of a bit of a free-for-all.
Yes. Yeah, out of, I've been to like a few festivals this year in Birmingham. None of them compared to like Bristol Craft Brewery. Craft Beer Festival. It's like pay the ticket price and then just drink whatever. It's like most of them. It's like you pay the entrance fee and then buy beers with tokens on top of that.
Yeah.
This is just like go crazy. As soon as you go through the door,
drink as
like
much
World
as you
War
like.
Z afterwards with the zombies piling up the wall.
Well, that's it. I mean, I'm probably just going to start, just go straight over to good chemistry, get a pint rather than the
say hello
that
to
we're
the
meant
guys,
to get, and just start quite easily from there, really.
Yeah.
So yes, if you want to get hold of us, we are at tankedup_cast on Twitter. We're tankedup@gmail.com on the email. You can get me at Nova_47. You can get Lucy at tankeduplucy.
Yeah,
on Twitter.
Yes, or Juicy Loose 9 on, especially on tap this weekend. You'll see what I'm drinking at the festival. Most of it's probably going to be 5 out of 5 stars after about an hour in.
After the first 3 beers, like, this is beautiful. Yeah. Yep. I can't remember what we are on tap. I think we're just tanked up on Untapped, so you can probably just. Yeah, you'll see a lot of beers. I don't know whether we'll be doing the same beers or whether we're going to be kind of chopping and changing quite a lot between the two of us.
Yeah, I think last year we did quite a few the same, and then there was like, we'd get to one brew. It's like, I like the look of that, and I like the look of that, which is a good way to do it.
Completely change it, yeah. I think it's just see how the day takes us, perhaps. You can also get us and other people on outoflives.net or outoflivespod over on Twitter. There's lots of other podcasts. You can go also to YouTube, which I think just search Out of Lives to watch other videos. I've started giving my thoughts on things. I had a video up last week about my thoughts on Netflix and their Witcher series. There's been lots of developments since then, which I kind of feel I want to talk about.
I only just saw a glimpse of it today, and I was like, God,
I fucking hate everyone. I mean, it just destroys my fucking just sense of any kind of humanity that I ever have about anybody else.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even need to do a video. I'll just say here to the listeners, it's not your fucking show. Let people make the fucking show they want to make. It's got fucking nothing to do with you. Just watch it and be fucking happy.
And I just want to briefly touch on. My friend showed this to me yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I was talking about Karate Kid because I was like, if you want to feel old,
yeah,
look how old Danny is. I think his real name is Ralph or something. I was like, if you want to feel old, look how
Ralph Macchio.
Yeah, look how old Ralph Macchio is in real life. And then he goes to me, oh, they made a new show, and it's Ralph and the blonde kid, and they made a show, and it's the original actors. And I was like,
Cobra Kai.
Yeah, I was like, everything on paper sounds cool, but then I watched the trailer. I was like, you know what? This just ruined my childhood. Just no.
I think so. It's a very different conversation, but I think you can watch the first episode on YouTube.
I don't want to.
And the rest of the series is only on YouTube Premium.
There's a premium version of YouTube?
There's a premium version of YouTube which you can pay for. I think that's how you can watch the rest of the series. So I've not bothered. I've not delved into it.
I thought this should be on like Netflix.
No, it's a YouTube show. A YouTube show.
YouTube makes shows like original shows like Netflix originals.
They've made Cobra Kai, or I don't know whether they made it. I don't know whether they've just bought the rights to it. I don't know.
It sounded like Ralph Macchio needed some money.
Hey, he was in Arrested Development for like 4 episodes. Yeah, he's Bob Loblaw.
I didn't know he was in anything. Good. I don't know who this blonde geezer is.
I don't think he's been in much. I wonder whether it's
I saw the trailer and it did like it looks like they're doing their own stunts, and so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
40 years on or whatever.
Is it self-referential? It's like, I was in Karate Kid, I've fallen on hard times because of what happened, and that's happened to me in life. I didn't get very many acting jobs afterwards, and it's kind of like redemption almost for these kind of characters and the actors almost.
Yeah, on paper everything sounded cool. It's like the roles are reversed as well.
Yep.
Danny's the arsehole now. It's like, that sounds cool for the original actors. But then I watched the trailer, I was like, you know what? I don't know if I'm into this at all. That's pretty bad. Maybe this is why I didn't...
Wait for the Witcher Netflix show. You've not played the game, so you'll be completely open to fucking all of it.
Where Mr. Miyagi's actually a black man who's not Asian anymore.
Well, the original Mr. Miyagi is no longer about, is he? So
no, he's not. Apparently died in 2005, which
it's now Danny Glover. Wait, didn't they reboot fucking Karate Kid?
They did, and I almost walked out of the film. I wanted to walk out, even if the film was Jaden Smith's
son. Yeah,
that's one of the few films, other than topically, the first Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. Those are 2 films I wanted to walk out of, but it's like my friends were like, "Just stay." I couldn't stand either. It was like just pouring acid into my eyeball.
I've got to say, I've not seen either of the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man films.
You don't want to?
No, I don't. You're right.
I mean, the first one, I couldn't tell you anything about. I think Lizard was in it. What? No.
Who was he played by? Like Eric Banner or someone like that, probably.
Is this the right one? Sort of Scorpion. I don't know. It was just bad, and he looks like Andy Murray, and it freaks me out.
It does a little bit, yeah. I'll stay away from it.
Yeah,
there's other things to do. There's other things to do instead of watch those games. So that's it. I think Spider-Man's been discussed. Beers have been drank. We've told you where to go and who to talk to and what beers to drink. So that's it for us this week. I'm not going to sign out as I normally do. I'm just going to say bye.
Spider-Man. Ciao.
Ciao.